explaining this issue, the TUC chair actually said that even on discovery or on trying to look at, what the minimum wage is right now, he said that they even discovered that, some workers have, being maybe they were earning a certain amount, and then added to that 35,000 naira, you could say that, well, it's 70, maybe over 70,000 or so that they're earning. Now, for the government to come and say what they want to up the minimum wage from 30,000 is 48,000 doesn't make any logical sense, because prices of goods have gone high because of fuel subsidy removal. Tariff increase is also there. Rising, cost of living, it's so apparent based on inflation that is now over 33%. And then food inflation is over 40%. And then how do you say that an average Nigerian worker should earn 48,000? He said that back then, when the minimum wage was set at 18,000, I think that was back in 2008 or thereabout, that 18,000 naira could buy more than 2 bags of rice. When it was up to 30 or 35,000, it could buy at least a bag of rice and some more. But now, 48,000 naira cannot even afford 1 bag of rice. So it doesn't make any logical sense for government to even propose that at all. And so they had to walk out. So share your thoughts with us on all of this.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. And, thank you as well for the wonderful job you are doing.
Thank you.
On the issue of the minimum wage adjustment, which is currently trending in Nigeria. The increment on minimum wage, as far as I'm concerned, is non-negotiable, and I believe the government knows that as well. The organized labor, TUC, and NLC have made it clear to government that what is being paid to Nigerian workers at the moment is cannot be sustained. And as a result of that, on the 30th of January this year, I recall that the government set up a committee of some members of the labor unions, some members of the organized private sector, and some members of the federal government as well, to find what the appropriate amount to be paid to Nigerian workers on an average should be. And well, first of all, I am happy that the government understands that Nigerian workers cannot accept what is currently being paid. And a proposal was made by the organized labor union, and they proposed 615,000 naira, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
And the government says this is an amount they cannot pay. And they went back to the negotiation table, and this should have been done by now, but the labor says by the 31st of May, which is the end of this month, if nothing is done by government, they are going on strike. And so that is why you saw yesterday at Nikon Luxury Hotel, the committee met again, and government proposed 48,000 naira from 615,000 naira, and they just got angry and left the meeting. In their words, this was a disrespectful counter offer from government. So the situation now is that on the 31st of May, we are going to have, according to the NLC and TUC, an industrial action, which is going to have an adverse effect on Nigerians, and something I don't want on a personal level, and I believe that the majority of Nigerians also don't want. So they have to come back to the negotiation table, and the government has to bring a more reasonable offer so that they can complete the negotiation and we have a new minimum wage approved and signed into law, so that we can have uh, income disparity reduced in Nigeria and poverty reduction. You remember the last time I was with you on the show, we were talking about how the removal of subsidy and some other government policy has really driven uh, cost of items, inflation rates, which is currently 33%. We had that discussion, and this is at least, know, uh, flattening the gap. So that's the situation from understanding.
So why do you think, let me ask you, if you have any idea, share your own thoughts about this, why government is reluctant in actually proposing anything reasonable? I've heard people talk about inflation that may just go up if there is any increment in minimum wage. But I mean, not something reasonable, because I mean, going currently by 30,000 naira minimum wage and then just adding about another 18,000 to 30,000, it doesn't make sense, because what can 18,000 naira possibly do to a man, for example, who has a family of 5 or 4 or even much more, feeding them, paying school fees? Government was very quick to take off subsidy and cause the prices of fuel pump price to go up by over 300%. Tariff was quickly removed without even any consultation, causing it to go up by over 300. So why do you think there is the reluctance to actually up the wages and salaries of Nigerian workers who actually deserve this, in order to ensure that there is some sort of balance going by the inflation that the government policies and actions have cost many Nigerian, not just workers, but Nigerians generally, even people who are unemployed?
Yeah, it's quite simple. The government, wants to pocket, monies that have been saved. Let's be straightforward about it. From subsidy removal, a lot of funds accrue to government coffers, that the federal government or the state government. And state governments now get much more revenues from the federal allocation monthly, and federal government too is able to generate a lot of funds, and they want to hold on to these monies, whether for administrative convenience or for their personal use, or both. And that is why we have to rally behind the labor unions to make sure that Nigerians are not left out from this windfall from savings from the oil subsidy removal. The average Nigerians also have to get their share, and the most effective way to do that is to ensure that the minimum wage is increased to a reasonable amount, so that workers in the formal sector can get more money. And when they go to the market in the informal sector, they spend, and people also get more money in the informal sector as well. So that is what should be the case.
In the case where this is not done and labor goes into some sort of industrial action, because they said they cannot guarantee industrial peace if there isn't an agreement at the end of the day. How do you see further the implications of the actions that will be taken by labor union and TUC too? Because right now, as it is, people are complaining, but I mean, you think about how much worse that would impact the economy, and by ripple effect, or every other sector too.
Yeah, it will be devastating. We are already in a situation that, for the last time we saw, I told you that we are in a very delicate situation, a situation where the minimum requirement now is to just keep it as it is, when you buy time to find solutions that you can bring and improve the economy. We cannot afford to have it worse than it is. Inflation rate is 33%. Food inflation rate is 40%. This is the highest in Nigerian history. So any mistakes, any kind of industrial unrest, any kind of anything like that is going to have devastating effect on the economy, which in my opinion we cannot afford at the moment. So that is why the key word is we cannot afford. We cannot afford an industrial action at this time, and government should do all it can to respond appropriately to the demands of the labor unions.
So, what do you think? What do you think would be the solution? Is it an increase of the wages and salaries, or is it in the withdrawal of some of this increase that government has imposed? I mean, I know people have advocated for one of the points that Labour asked government or presented to government, I think in their a previous meeting, was, hey, let's revert back this price of 600 and something naira, because it's different 600s in different filling stations. You get the 617 in NNPC, 695 in some places, 680, and some people are even buying up to 700. So I know that Labour proposed that government should revert it back to the first 500, and I can't remember, it's been a little while now, when the subsidy was removed. Remember when the price was jacked up to over 500, and then shortly afterwards this 600 naira regime came in. I know that Labour said that they wanted that to go back in the case that the government is unable to remove the subsidy or to bring back the subsidy regime. Then also you look at tariff increment for Band A, but unfortunately a lot of people are having to pay this increment even though they have no business being in Band A. So what do you think would be the appropriate solution? Is it in government reversing these policies that has caused inflation, or is it just in the minimum in a wage increment? What would be the lasting solution to this?
We can only go forward. We can only go forward. And this is always been my stance at different, fora that I have had to speak about some of these issues. We can only go forward. When this government came in, there were no revenues, for government. The loan, what we were using to service our loans, was almost 70%, if not more, of the budget in for last year precisely. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is that there was no revenue sources for government aside from loans. And this is one of the reasons that necessitated the removal of subsidy, that also necessitated the liberalization of the foreign exchange, and also you see the tariff, electricity tariff as well. Government is trying to remove electricity tariff as well. There are a lot of policies. There is also another policy that is being, speculated recently, but government says, and that is, on bank transactions.
Yeah, the cybersecurity.
Saying that.
Cybersecurity levy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can see the pattern. Government trying to make money. And so, but for me, I think that is something that, yes, government should be trying to make money. But my own problem is when you find this kind of solutions, when you are able to increase your revenues, you must immediately, make the citizens also feel the impact of what you've done. They have to be compensated, because Nigerians, if I am buying fuel for 200 naira, for example, I now start buying for 600 naira. Then you remove the subsidy. That means that by implication, you are taking money from me. And so you cannot tell me that you are not going to increase my salary. So that is, that is my own stance for now. Let us increase the salaries. Let us do some other things to make sure that Nigerians are comfortable. But it doesn't end there. I'm still waiting for what government is going to do with the subsidy that, the savings from the subsidy, because you did not remove subsidy to only, increase the minimum wage. You removed the subsidy to bring about some adjustments in, some investments in infrastructure, in some segments of the economy, which is supposed to bring improvement. So I'll give you a 1 year, a 6 months timeline to see what you've been able to do. Then if all that fails, then we have to go back to subsidy payment regime.
Well, we have seen increase in federal allocation to states. FAC allocation has really increased for a lot of states. We have seen the attempt to construct the coastal highway. I don't know if you think that suffices as some of the offshoot of, of the fuel removal subsidy.
Not enough. Nothing enough. The coastal highway is a project that is supposed to take 7 or 8 years. So what I'm talking about is, as the power supply improves in Nigeria as of today.
No. With regards to the electricity tariff, I guess that's what you're asking, yeah?
Exactly. No. The answer is no. So these are some of the issues that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If the power improves today, then we know automatically that that manufacturers would find it easier to produce. As health sector improves in Nigeria today, as of today, the answer is no. So practically, the citizens have not yet experienced any improvement in service delivery through the health sector. Businesses are yet to see any improvements in power supply, which will enable more provision of whatever they are producing and employing new workers to their organizations. So these are some of the things I'm speaking to when I ask for results. We all know the fundamental issues that are facing Nigeria as a country.
Yeah.
And that is what I want to say. I want to see how government is going to reinvest the monies that they are taking. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, in reaction to our conversation, Banking Utako says, Her Vocal Majesty, greetings. The logical sense in the 48K is the many states that couldn't pay the existing 30,000 current minimum wage. They must have held the federal government to ransom to arrive at 48K. I believe the federal government will pay minimum of 65K to their civil servants, while the states can pay any amount beyond the 48K, just like Lagos and Edo states. I don't really know how much the state allocations have increased since the subsidy is gone. Pronouncement by Tinubu in order to pro-rata the minimum wage for each state. I can speak for, I think, Nasarawa State. Nasarawa State had, I think, one of the highest percentage increase. I'm not so sure now. I'll have to confirm the exact percentage by which it increased, but it sure did for many states that were announced, shortly when that came to be. Okay. Good day, worthy Nigerian Info and our amiable Vocal Majesty, Dr. Ahmed from London, wish to comment on Labour walking out on the issue of minimum wage. It seems both the federal government and Labour are not listening to progressive suggestion, because I've given the written down version to both. Last year, through this your esteemed radio station, I suggested harmonization of salaries and wages instead of carrying out the outright increase of same. I gave reasons like inability of most state governments to even pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. inflation and inadequacy of liquidity, etc., as a justification for my suggestion. I further opined that as far back as 2016, while still in service, and it was becoming increasingly obvious that the federal government was falling short of cashback ability to pay all her workers effectively unless loans are obtained to execute capital projects, we carried out a mocked harmonization, and the minimum wage then was about 97,500 naira. Why should an ex-secretary or DG of a parastatal in Ministry of Finance earn 10 times the salary of the permanent secretary of the same ministry, which is the parent body? He said, why should a director in petroleum ministry earn just 15% of his colleagues' pay in an agency of the same ministry? What we did was to ensure that permanent secretaries, DGs, ex-secretaries, ambassadors, etc. earn the same salaries, same for all directors in public service, approved vote for personnel cost and equitably shared among all employees, with a minimum wage of about 97K and a maximum wage of 3 million for the DGs currently earning over 7 million. Sorry, I have to stop there. So many other messages. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed from London. Amazing contribution there. Eze Matt in Carmo actually said, good afternoon, Oracle. Okay, this is not Oracle. You said, I'm not against what NLC and TUC are fighting for. However, I still want to let them know that not everybody is a civil servant. Their fight should be in tandem with the need by the entire citizens. Government should also do the needful because pronouncement of fuel subsidy is gone, coupled with multiple taxation, make things virtually unaffordable by many people. Thank you, Ezimat. And on our YouTube, which was streaming live, Brown Trendy said they should reverse the policies because it has created more problems than it has solved. I thought that with the money saved from subsidy removal, our life would be better and they will have more to spend on us. These are some of the opinions coming in this morning. So, Mr. Ayo, yeah, you've heard what people think this afternoon. I mean, anything to say before, we round up our discussion?
Yeah, I mean, we are on the same page. I think we just, we want results, we want solutions, and that is what everybody is fighting for. On the issue of state governments, not I think someone mentioned that state governments are not able to pay the
minimum wage.
Government is trying, the wage, and government is trying to harmonize. Well, those state governments, announced that it is going to be paying 70,000 naira in Edo states, and so the question is if Edo states can afford 70 naira minimum,
70,000
naira. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 70,000 minimum wage. Then what is stopping other states from doing, at least 70,000, which hasn't even been, accepted by the labor union. So the situation is that states get a lot more than they used to get from federal government. I don't have the exact figures at hand at the moment, but they are getting much more than they used to get, and they should, as a matter of fact, they must pay whatever the minimum wage is going to be. They should find a solution. With what they are getting now.
Mr. Ayo, can you just pause for a bit? Let's just take this last commercial and then you just round up quickly.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Okay, obviously there isn't a commercial, so just continue.
Yeah, so as I was saying, they should see where we are now as a country.
Yeah.
Swat. Everybody has to work, inclusive of the governors. It's not going to be easy to pay the new minimum wage, but that is the least you can do to show the people that you won the election and you care about them. You are not in office to be, to be comfortable, to relax and to make money, then 4, 8 years you're out of the office. You are here to solve problems. And the problems in Nigeria, they are problems we call wicked problems. We understand that they are difficult, but it is because you wanted the job is a job. It's not, it's not a title. It is a job with description. It's a difficult job. You are going to sweat at it. So let them go and do it. Let all the governors in Nigeria pay the new minimum wage with the new federal allocation they are getting, and also let them also look inwards and source for
Revenues.
generated
Revenues.
revenue.
Indeed.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ayo Mole, for joining me today on the show to talk with me on this very issue. I appreciate. Let me just let you go now because it's nearly 2 o'clock and we have to round up this conversation now. Enjoy your day, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you too. Okay, thank you so much. That was Mr. Ayo Mole, who is a public affairs analyst and a political economist too, who has shared his view on the Labour federal government impasse yesterday, where nothing was agreed upon. And so obviously the Labour leaders had to stage a walkout because they felt, this doesn't sound right. It's not ridiculous. I was listening, in fact, to the TUC president who was saying that they now said, okay, so if we're going to say you're assuming we are, or assuming that we say a minimum wage is 48,000, honestly, what can 48,000 naira do? Because in the real sense of it, if you even look at it, based on what the government said, they will be giving additional, I think, 35,000 naira. You add it with the 30,000, it's like 70,000 already, okay? But then if you have to increase the minimum wage and you're saying 48,000, based on current realities, based on inflation, based on everything that is on ground, what can that possibly do for people who have families, who have dependents, who have to do a whole lot? You're not even talking about the immediate needs, in the family, like food, like shelter, like rent, and small basic running around that you do. What about healthcare? What about education? What about all the other things that come in necessary for everyday living? The cost, the spendings that you have to make. So it keeps making life uncomfortable for people. So someone has to give, honesty. Because I don't know why the reluctance when it comes to increasing and improving minimum wage and the living conditions of Nigerians. We're liberalizing, even if it's at the expense of the welfare of Nigerians, then it's something that can be looked into and renegotiated, right? So we see the quick move on the side of one to put in policies that has brought about a lot of added spending and costing for people without necessarily being so quick at the same time to say, well, we're giving in to the demand to make it better for these people so that they're able to afford what burden has been placed on their shoulders right now. Okay, so we will still take more comments and thoughts before the 2 o'clock hour. We barely have some seconds to go though, but you can still quickly call before our next guest, 0700 951 0000 and 08095974869. I have also, okay, let's see who's here. Hello. Good afternoon. Yes. No. There only. Sorry. The output is very, very poor, extremely poor. Can't even catch your words. The sin committed by government against our citizens was removal of subsidy without putting refineries and other sources of transport energy in full function, which led to inflation, and inflation led to the demand for increment in wages and salaries. But labor should also be mindful of such huge amount they are demanding, which I believe tremendous raise in wages and salaries would definitely lead to further rise in inflation digits. Thanks. Amos Nuhu from Jabi Center Lane. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, better.
Thank you, my sister. God bless you. God bless guest in absentia. This Adeomi calling, agreed on Nigeria. Kudos to labor. I think this time, don't mature now. They should not use us play any caricature. We are ready to support them. Nigeria needs to go on strike. Let this government know that there is not a joke. I blame Nigeria and Osipo. They are the cause of all these problems. Remember when Obanjo was there, what to increase fuel like this? They should let us know. Let the government know that this is not a joke. You buy motor of 160 million.
Okay. Afternoon, Swat. Habibu Usman is my name. We're buying fuel at the same rate as those who campaign for this government. We're suffering with them. This is why good governance has become a responsibility for all. We enjoy, suffer together, irrespective of tribe, religion, or any other parameter. Thank you so much, Habibu Usman, for your contribution. Okay, good day, worthy Nigeria Info. Dr. Ahmed again. Please, if there must be a minimum wage, then it should be a minimum wage per hour, as we have here in the UK and other West countries. This is because federal government and state government have too many staff on their payrolls and cannot afford to pay them effectively. That's what a lot of people say, but I believe with the way we are in this country, if the governors set to work, if they look inwards and are creative, about running their states as businesses or doing what they need to do to create revenue generation policies, programs, not necessarily at the expense of the people, but just to improve their revenue generating capacities, I believe it's possible. I believe it's possible. I think many of our state governors are so comfortable with the PAC allocation monthly, just come, collect, and go back and carry on and keep saying, well, we don't have money, we don't have money, we don't have money. There are a lot of things that, innovations on the side of the governors that can come in, just like we're seeing with some very few states in this country, and the rest just go to sleep as though nothing is at stake. They think it's enough to say, we don't have money, we don't have money, we don't have money. But just like other Western countries are carrying on, some of these states, like I think the revenue generation of what state is it that has that Silicon Valley? I think that's California or something like that. The way California is richer than some even African countries and some countries put together, even in the West and all of that, So these are people who think out of the box. We need to see that happen in Nigeria. We cannot continue with this narrative for states don't have money, they don't have money, they don't have money. For how long are we going to? Well, we're highly blessed, human-wise, human development or human capital, natural resources. Think about it from all angles. Every state in this country is blessed in one way or the other. And we can begin to see a situation where the states can negotiate with government for resource control. It's available. It's something that can be achieved if they are ready to ensure that these resources will be, harnessed, developed, so that it improves on the capacity for revenue generation of their states. And then salaries are no longer an issue, because paying salaries in this country right now is like a Herculean task for many of these governors. And it is what it is, and will continue to be unless we show some sign of seriousness to change from the old order of things. Just being so lazy and relaxed and just giving off excuses as though that is enough to allow people to continue to wallow in poverty. Right? Good afternoon, Swat. My name is Aushram Abuja. I just bought a small plate of fresh pepper for 500 naira. God help us. Special greetings. Thank you so much. And then lastly, good afternoon, Nigeria Info. I urge the federal government of Nigeria to reduce price of fuel to 300 naira. Thank you. This is coming from Atinga Timothy. Okay. Let me see. I think we have a call here. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Justice of Peace.
Oh, welcome, Justice of Peace.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
I'm glad to hear Adeomi's voice. I'm glad to hear your voice too, Auntie Swat. Adeomi talking about going to strike and everything that is happening. Well, I think that would be a good one if strike will be allowed to go. I'm very sure right now nobody's talking about tribe and ethnicity and a religion anymore. The whole thing, everybody's feeling it. But I'm not surprised. As I always said, from when this government was declared winner, I say I'm not expecting anything different from better from what the previous government did. So, Nigerians, this is just 1 year. We are managing it. I'm very sure everybody will get wise very soon. I decided to just stay clear because the more you talk, it looks as if you are against the government or whatever. But I look in my brother, my dear, these people have nothing to offer with what is going on. I wish we will not go die, everybody. We will not go die. My joy is that the rain that is falling is beating Fulani, is beating Nama. Everybody is taking it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Hello? Hello?
Oh my God.
Hello? Wow. Hello?
Hello, Sister Swat. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How's work today?
Fine, thank you.
And my brother with you there, my regards to him.
Yeah, it's gone. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Nigeria, like I literally tell you people, my name is Great Man from Adovia.
Okay.
Nigeria, like I literally say on this program over and over and over, I repeat my words, and I will not go back on it, that Nigeria is the richest and the greatest country in the world. But they say a city where the city of one eye man, where one eye man is a king. The city of the blind, one eye man is the king. So Nigeria has issues of leadership. Our leaders, they don't have the will, the political will to do anything. If the one in charge of mining can harness, can explore, will go a long way in this country. See numerous resources that God has given us. But there's hiccup everywhere. Because it's only in Nigeria that somebody from the garage make his money and will just find his way to leadership position. Once he just make money, he will buy the position. In other developed nations that I know of the world, leaders are grown. Hello?
Yes. Go on.
Leaders are grown to become leaders. They groom them from their early stage. And as they go with wisdom. And when they emerge as leaders, they explore the country. You will see the country within short time become developed nation. But Nigeria, I have seen one man in Nigeria that I always talk about, that has used his hard-earned money to make respect, to grow himself as a leader. But we'll never allow him because of the way and manner we are doing in the country.
All right.
Somebody will just bring money and buy the position, and then they will mess everything up.
Thank you.
We are not supposed to be talking about...
you need to round up. You need to round up, please.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Supposed to be talking about minimum wage here. Even if they increase that minimum wage to 1 million, it will not be enough because of the high inflation we are having today.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. You seem to just not want to give up on your talk. So let me take on the next caller. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Swakasat.
Yep.
How
Thank you.
are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Justice office. I didn't say justice office don't japa. Not knowing that justice office is still within the country. Justice office, how are you doing? I want to talk about what is happening. See, to be sincere, this government are not sincere. Yesterday, in the evening when Kim was on the program, I hear people complain that even pepper of 100 naira, no pepper 100 naira no in the inflation about 33.something%. Now, I remember when they wanted to increase fuel price, they say we can't be buying fuel cheaper than Saudi Arabia. We can't be buying fuel cheaper than America. Now, how much is the minimum wage in America? How much is the minimum wage of Saudi Arabia? How much is the minimum wage of South Africa, Egypt, and other African countries? This is the man that promised living wage. So this 48,000 naira, is it the living wage? If from that place you pay for transportation, it can't even buy a bag of rice. That, let's call a spade a spade. It can't even buy that bag of rice. Now you come and you say you are going to offer them 48,000 naira. Oh, which way? How will they cope up? Just like what I always say. I say politics is over. Now we are facing the reality. The hardship doesn't know political party, doesn't know religion, doesn't know tribe. So we are all into it. See, government should do the needful. We remember the day he said subsidy is gone. We are still facing that one. Now they come with different ban, and still you are in ban A. You know how much you are buying now. With 5,000 naira, you don't get 2 units that can't even take you for 3 days. So they should make sure they reverse that electricity tariff and sit well with the labor and negotiate so that they will reach a amicable resolution, not this 48,000 naira. Thank you for giving me the privilege.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. We'll take on 3 more calls and we are done as we go into our sunny conversation. Hello.
Thank you, Swat.
Adeomi, you've already made your comment now.
No.
Eh.
Spend 40 seconds.
Okay, go ahead.
Did not allow me before.
Okay, go ahead.
So, as I was saying, I would like to beg labor leaders not to use us do caricature with the government. Before you know now, you will see a jail with president, begin shake each other, and something will change hands. They should stop all this. See, the mistake they made, they are of it by themselves. I wish in the one when Tinubu said subsidy has gone. The second day, every one of us with their tool. It will have been over now. Look, there, out of all this, they are using us caricature by buying car for their family, buying yacht, buying motor for his wife. Imagine, Tinubu is a billionaire. He fought for democracy. I'm not happy with him. Let every one of us know. Hungry does not know brother. It does not know tribe. I'm not a tribalist. People should know that. A lot of times I don't want to call, Ben, because when you call, people will tag your name with the president. People should stop that. If it of it come, it didn't do well. No matter what anybody will say, I will say what I will continue to say. And I will stand on it that all the politicians are the same. Look at Labour Party National Assembly. Do they complain? Look at the Senate. House of Reps, all of them are enjoying. And they complain. The governor, all these people, the woman in Abuja, where is she now? Are they not the part of those who collect palliative? Let's tell ourselves the truth. What they are doing is bad. Labour should stand and they should make sure end of this May, we are going for strike. Let's go Nigeria and let us go for something. Let everybody feed it. Let the government lose. How can we continue to suffer like this?
All right.
We allow them to do this. They will do more. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you very much. We take 2 more calls. This is the second to the last call. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi, Swat.
Yes, what's your name?
This is Yakubu from Kwali.
Okay, go ahead.
It has been a while. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. Welcome.
Oh, you're welcome. In fact, this government, to be frank, they should do well and wake up from their slumber. Because to be frank, each time I call into your program, I'll always represent my community. If those who are everybody complain, want more of my community, that's persons with disability. To be frank, we the community of persons with disability, many of our members, many of my members some of them are brought dead because of all this hardship. The Kwali market, I'm telling you, the team of this new Bongoni of Pepe, if you do not give them 500, nobody will give it to you. So what I'm saying here, everything has, escalated. So in fact, we are suffering. So with that, please, they should do well. This 48,000 naira minimum wage of 14. A bag of rice today is how much? Almost running to 80. So what will 48,000 naira do? Please, they should do well and do something. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Yakubu, and we'll take on the final caller. Hello.
Yeah, Barrister, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome.
I'm a lucky person this afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. This is Ojo, the next president.
Okay.
Talasi, Parabale. Adewumi, how are you? And my people, good afternoon all. Honestly speaking, federal government disappointed. We thought the math with them made on Workers' Day, the workers would be surprised. They are going to give them living wage. So 48,000 is the living wage that they want to surprise us with. Anyway, I don't blame them. It's because they are not buying anything from the markets. You are the one feeding them, taking care of them. So they don't know the situation of things in the market. So I think that they are paying from their pockets. They will have known the reality of things in the markets, and they will have do something much more better than this. In a country where we don't have transport, organized transport sector from the government, I think that there is training now. At least we'll have used that one to cushion the disease. No light. Virtually everything in this country you pay by yourself. With this 48,000, they want to increase the VAT from 7.5% to. With this 48, you have remove the electricity tariff after. This is reasonable. Even the burden this administration have put on us is even enough to not to even present this kind of things. After spending almost 1 billion to set up the apartheid committee, what they could come out with is 48,000 naira. They are not serious at all.
All right.
I think things need to be changed in this country. I think all the political, they need to be paying from their pockets. Maybe they will know what citizens are feeling. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have to stop here. Appreciate all the contributors. Sorry to every and anyone who has been trying to get me and cannot, because we've eaten deep into the 2 o'clock hour. We have to have our other segments. It's a must. So I have to put this conversation on hold. I'm sure there will be so many angles to explore this very topic from with subsequent shows and programs. So yeah. It's not as if you will not talk about this again. Good day, Swat. TLC TUC 615. Okay. Government 18K increase. Hallelujah. All Nasino play. Ibro from outside. I don't understand this, your message now. Anyway, good afternoon, Swat. Your guest is on point. Our rulers should know that they are not in office to relax, cruise, and enjoy, but rather to work and fix all the various problems in and around. Finally, please, use your good office on behalf of the POS operators, plead with the federal government to reduce the cost of business registration. Francis O. from Duce. All right, Francis, I'm sure they know that. Good afternoon, SWAT. Nigerian politicians are all equal. Even if we have Obi or Atiku as our president, I believe the situation will still be the same. Don't be too sure, Mr. Oludade Abiodun. We've seen good leadership that changes things around. I doubt if all will be the same if it were to be Mr. A or Mr. B. I'm just saying, everybody come with their own policies and different outlook to leadership and governance, and they do their thing. So let's focus on the fact that we're under this administration, and this is what is happening. If another person comes in tomorrow, we'll see how he pans out. But, I know in this country, we said of someone once upon a time he was the best president ever. That never was. And then a chance was given, and somehow, so I don't know. We just pray for good governance and good leadership and very sensitive ones at that. Why is government often so quick in increasing taxes, rates, and even withdrawal of subsidies without notifying the public ahead of time, but will drag their feet over a single item of demand like minimum wage and not even maximum wage yet to? Very soon, Nigeria will rise to urge Labour to ask for minimum wage once and for all and no more, says Patrick in Abuja. Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Ibu Farah from Wuse said, I hope nobody will blame NLC tomorrow and accuse Ajero of political vendetta when Labour tools down tools. The federal government cannot continue to take us for a ride, especially workers here in Abuja, where house rent is something else. Labour should start mobilizing immediately. Okay, Ibu Farah says so. And then, God's will from Duse Alaji, you said the 48K is just for the civil servants. What of the non-civil servant, traders, farmers, businessmen, and women, etc.? What will they do? Good question. And lastly, what is the meaning of 48,000 naira minimum wage salary? This is the greatest insult and insensitivity meted out to Nigerians and Nigerian workers. I wish one day Nigerian labor will be serious, says KD on my way. Thank you, everyone. We draw the cutting on this segment as we take a break and come back for the next, which is the final segment on the sunny side. Thank you for participating in your contributions. I appreciate you all.
is Nigeria Info.